What's up, guys? Noble Nick and Silly Scaper.
Yee.
We got Necrotech Reavers, which are new Eisenecs, but they're on Vydar's team, and they're commons. So you got commons for the Eisenic army, and if you like Vydar more,
These are the first Eisenecs that aren't from with Revna, I believe.
Or yeah, what I don't know what I was just saying, but yeah, they're from Revna. So
But these aren't. They're with Vydar, which is interesting.
the news spreads through the Eisenic networks. In an instant, the war was won. So they can kind of communicate to each other. They were the last life forms remaining on the surface of Noxdorma. No enemies left. No obstacles to the glorious age of wealth and productivity promised by Iron Lich Viscerat. 100 years passed, then 1,000. Iron Lich Viscerat, colossal machine, the War Eater, bored ever deeper beneath Noxdorma's crust. Meanwhile, the Reavers asked the same question over and over. When will the equation be complete? When will the prosperity begin? The answer was always the same from Viscerat and his deathless lords: soon. But prosperity never came. Instead, a bountiful silene deposits and magnificent necrotech enhancements were every common soldier. There were cuts. Resources were redirected to Viscerat's private laboratory, to the construction of his necromoons, to the Hellforges and their starships, which would seek out distant new worlds for Eisenic expansion. So I don't know what necromoons are or what the World Eater is, but maybe we'll see them eventually.
That would be cool. So something called the World Eater? Is it like a big, huge figure? Like Hellforge, like.
That sounds like it drills into the ground, though. But
okay.
Then the silane ran dry. Some Reavers chose to starve, faithful to the end. Others turned on their comrades, scavenging what they could from their corpses. Messages from Viscerat's laboratory became less frequent until they fell silent altogether. Geothermal tremors worsened. Something terrible was happening to Noxdorma itself. So, Viscerat was sort of taking all of the material and not sharing it like he said he was going to build the starships and stuff like that, and have it in his own laboratory for some reason. And now tremors are worsening, which sounds like the World Eater dug too deep or something.
Too deep.
But but the Reavers barely noticed. Each day had become a ravenous struggle to survive. In the days before the shattering, the Eisenic devoured each other. When the Valkyrie Vydar first beheld these grotesque fusions of flesh and cables sifting through the charred ruins of Noxdorma, he recoiled in horror. Their flickering ocular senses, skeletal jaws, and the eerie blue vapor hissing in their canisters, they were nightmares made real. Yet his visions would not relent. He watched them tear through ancient war machines to survive, ripping out circuitry and weapons, grafting twisted remnants of metal in their own rotting frames. He did not know their names, he did not know their history, but he recognized their genius, their madness, their raw, relentless will to endure. And just moments before Noxdorma collapsed entirely, Vydar summoned them to Valhalla. So the World Eater destroyed Noxdorma, the world.
Planet just.
But these guys were scavenging, which is why they're missing an arm, which is why the next few figures that we go over, which I don't know, maybe I can make that in the same video, but
I think it's probably a good idea. Because they're all kind of one.
So, oh yeah, so they're from Noxdorma, they're Vydar. So Vydar saved them because he just saw that they were really good at surviving. And they're Eisenic common, the Reavers, which is the second Reavers ever. Merciless. That'd be funny if they were Death Reavers, but they were machines, so.
Yeah.
But those are good stats for a squad of 3 with the extra defense, 65 points.
It is pretty good, actually.
Necrotech Network. Before taking a turn with one of them, you may first take a turn with an Eisenetic hero you control. If they're unique, you can only activate one of them. So if you do one of these next 3 heroes we're going to show you, you can just bond like normal. But if you use Scavarith, which can be deadly, or something like that that's unique, then you can only move and attack with one of these guys while doing that, which is pretty weak. No, it's pretty weak, but Scavarith on his own, if you choose him, is very powerful. Otherwise, if you're just choosing a unique figure, I don't know if you could get your points worth. Maybe Hellforge is in a good position that you could do something like that, but I think they'll be better with these next figures that we're going to show. But
Yep.
Scavenge parts at the start of the round before placing order markers. You may replace one Necrotech Reaver you control with one of your previously destroyed common, medium, Eisenetic heroes, which are the ones we're going to show you. So you attach an arm to them, which is a new thing that we've never had in the game.
It is actually pretty cool.
So we're going to go back, which is going to take us all the way back to this.
And here they are.
And here's the first one.
The Gas Blade.
Necrotech Gas Blade. So basically, you add a saw blade as an arm, and they become this thing. And he looks like that. And it says, the Reavers hear the call, echoing in their heads at night across the network that links them to their kin. Ironlich Viscerat has arrived on Valhalla, along with his bloodthirsty lords of Remnant Scavarith. Deep in Revna's tunnels, the Eisenic legions gather once more, singing work hymns of a prosperous future. But the Reavers remember their minds aren't as clouded as those of the Eisenic that starved in the days after the Shattering. Viscerat did not save them. They were not summoned to Valhalla by his claw, but by the Valkyrie. Some even recall being hunted by Scavarith, and the debris fields of ruined Noxdorma marked as thieves for taking what the Iron Lich claimed as his. Here they no longer tear each other apart for taste of Silene. Under Kyrion's command, the Reavers are working to build something new, something that belongs to them alone. The Gas Blades are no exception. Their blazing circular saws once tore into former comrades to harvest precious components. Now those same saws cut steel and clear rubble, making way for Kyrion's cities to rise. Somewhere deep in the design, there has always been a desire to build and invent. It has been a long time since it was used for anything but war. Some of Vydar's followers wonder why the Reavers remain in Kyrion's camps, why they lend their strength to her efforts and their blades to her defense when their Dreadlord has returned. It is not because they have forgotten Ironlich Viscerat. They remember him all too well. They remember what his glorious promises did to Noxdorma, and they will rend bone and metal alike to make sure he does not destroy a second world.
That lore's pretty nice. Kind of shows you why these guys are not with Revna. They're with Vydar.
Yep. So Noxdorma and Vydar again. They're a Eisenetic common hero. You can have multiple figures on one card. So you put an order marker there. You can move whichever one you want. Gasblade, Wild. And the card here is interesting because the first time
with an ore and all that split up like that.
Because the figures that you connect them to could end up having the different mace or bar or
hook,
blade.
Sword, flail, or
so that is
shitty
super neat. But so yeah, you can customize. You can have 3 different types of these gas blades, or 3 different of any of the other ones.
Mix it all up however you'd like.
Whatever you think looks the coolest.
And that I think is pretty awesome.
But it says they move 5. They have higher than normal attack, 3 defense, 2 life. Only 30 points when you first put them in your army, because you need to have them in your army if you want to turn a Reaver into them. And then, so you might have 1 or 2 or 3 of them, but it has Wild Spin special attack. Basically, it's an attack of 4, and you attack everyone adjacent to you. Roll each attack separately. So, yeah. So that just adds a lot of offense in melee. And you can also choose
the claw.
The Ghoul Grip.
The claw looks really nice, actually.
Yeah, it looks kind of heavy. But anyway, here's a little lore. Not quite as long as the other one. And it says, Necrotech Ghoul Grips come in as many shapes and sizes as there are arms to reclaim. Whether built from scratch, ripped from other Eisenecs, or salvaged from the mountainous scrap heaps of discarded soulborgs that litter Anun's borders, all Ghoul Grips share one terrifying trait. One arm of metal injected with volatile silene, capable of crushing a soulborg's skull flat in its fist.
That's pretty strong.
For those willing to look past the skeletal remains, entwined with their coiled metal limbs, Ghoul Grips offer immense utility. Their strength allows them to carry 50 times what a Kyrie can without flinching, making them indispensable for transporting the materials needed to build Kirion's growing fortresses. So they're fighters and workers. They are often seen near her camps in packs, scoring the rusting hills of Anun's battlefields. Decrepit tech and shattered weaponry are torn from the earth and hauled back to Kirion's forge for reclamation and reuse. Even Kirion's Soulborg allies have learned to keep their distance. More than one who wandered too close has been mistaken for scrap and ripped apart in an instant. Oops. So, there's the big hand that they can put on. There's the art. They're from Noxdorma. They're Vydar. They're Eisenic common hero. Ghoul Grip menacing. Same stats, but with 4 defense and 3 attack. Same points, same thing here, because you got options. Then they have the powers of the Gladiatrons, where you can grab small, medium figures, and they can't move when figures are engaged. So whether they come up to you or you go up to them. And then you get melee defense 1. So they get 5 defense when they're up close, adjacent. When defending against a normal attack, by the way. But
so these guys are kind of like the Gladiatrons.
Yep, that's what I was saying. Yep. But what was I was gonna say something else, but oh yeah. So you could lead with a few of them in the front because you don't mind your heroes dying, because then the squad figures become the heroes. But if somebody wants to try to kill the squad figures, if you got these guys in the way, then they kind of have to fight them. So, with them in the front and then these next guys behind shooting, you got some good protection. And you can just get some free kills, hopefully. And sort of control the battlefront if somebody has melee armies. So, only 30 points to throw a couple in. Alright. And then the last guy, which is Geistfire. Cool gun.
Very futuristic, as always.
And a decent amount of lore. Alright, it says, the Necrotech Reaver's greatest asset is that their ability to forge weapons for themselves that fit the task at hand. Centuries Left scavenging among the junk heaps of Noxdorma's ruined cities, honored their craft, and now Valhalla's battlefields, strewn with the debris of many worlds, are ripe with abandoned weapons and circuitry from them to rip from the wreckage and integrate into their own systems. Vydar quickly discovered that their ingenuity for a ruin rivaled that of the greatest inventors. The Reavers were more than monstrous survivors. They were engineers of annihilation, endlessly inventive and ruthlessly efficient. Necrotech Geist fires are created when a Reaver constructs a cannon that ignites its silene reserves to project a ghostly plasma flame. The resulting blast liquefies flesh and circuitry with ease, burning so hot it risks melting the Geist fire's own internal systems. Their destructive potential comes at a deadly cost, but the Reavers embrace it without hesitation. The Eisenecs who remain in service under the banner of Queen Kyrian and Anund have proven invaluable to her efforts both to secure the region and harness its resources. The Geist Fire's inferno is as useful as welding together the steel panels of her rising cities as it is in repelling would-be invaders. Whether building or destroying, the Geist Fire's purpose remains the same: to endure by any means necessary, salvaging, reshaping, and surviving through sheer force of will. And then you got this one that has the mace in his hand. You got this card. You got the back of it. The important side. Eisenec, common hero, Geistfire, wild. So they're wild. They're shooting everywhere. Maybe they're wild because they risk killing themselves, but
that might be it.
They have solid attack and defense, and solid range, solid movement, and survive longer than normal. So for 30 points, that is nice. But they do have a negative power. So if you roll 1 through 5 after taking a turn with them, they can take a wound. But luckily they have 2 life, so you can take a shot without worrying about dying at all.
Yeah.
And it's only a quarter of a chance anyway, so not too bad. So while the claw guys hold people down, you can just shoot from behind, and then the regular squad guys can attack whoever you think they should be attacking. But mainly you want these heroes to go up, fight, die, and then the squad guys to turn into new heroes, because that helps their survivability and their offense. So
yeah.
So this is an army that can probably be played in more ways than most armies, and will probably take a lot of practice. But yeah, there's so many. It's very, very versatile. But you do get some bonding, which is always good. So they'll be fun. I'm not sure they're the best one, especially with all the thinking it's involved, but
yeah,
maybe someone who plays well, who plays them enough, will end up doing really well with them.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's it for that. See you guys next video.
Bye-bye.